think you had 3 enter the transfer portal. Anybody else that you know of that said no thanks or anything?
No. Had a bunch of in-depth, honest, and open conversations with guys, and told every player, where they stood coming out of spring practice. But no, the ones that went in there had good conversations with and wished them well. But no, I think the guys that were there for the spring game, unless they've entered the portal, they're all planning on being back.
Great. In terms of the incoming freshmen, Shane, and anybody you might get out the portal, when's the ideal starting date that you'd like to have them here going through workouts?
It would be hard if they weren't here when we start summer school in June, obviously from an academic standpoint, but just from a workout standpoint, you want any new player here for the whole summer as well. So our players, some of them are in Columbia right now working out and doing different things in the month of May. But the whole team will be back Memorial Day night. On that Monday night, we'll have a team meeting, and then they'll start class and start workouts the very next morning on Tuesday. So obviously we want everybody here by then. I mean, it's not the end all, be all if they're not, but it would be hard to, I think, have an impactful role in team this year if you're not here for the whole summer.
What are some things, not position specific, but when you look in the portal this go around, what are some qualities or traits you might be targeting as a staff?
First and foremost, the kind of person that we want to bring into our program. And you guys know me enough. I think there's some schools out there that they just go grab a player, and it's like, grab a player and don't know anything about them. Like, we're going to do our research, and if we've got a couple of young men that are in the portal right now that has been talked about on y'all's sites. That there's one in particular. I've talked to 4 different coaches at his previous school. Just tell me everything about him, and I've seen culture at different places get out of whack when pro and college for not having the right people in your program. So I want to make sure we're bringing the right kind of person into our program. Making sure that they want to work and they're coming here for the right reasons and want to compete. We had a young man that wanted us to promise him a starting spot last night, and we wouldn't. So he's going to another SEC school, and we wish him well, but we're not into promising roster spots or promising starting jobs. We're into competing. So that's the first thing. And then beyond that, obviously, positional needs, and we're trying to make every position better. And certainly there's some positions that we don't have a lot of depth at right now. We need more, and those are critical areas, or critical positions for us right now.
I know you hear a lot about coaches trading scouting reports on other teams. Do you and other Division I coaches kind of talk about guys in the portal and call to get information on them, and what's that information trade like?
You talking about me and another school that may be recruiting the same guy?
Or just you call the former player's school and get information. Do you guys do that? How much information sharing?
I don't know how much, because we've had some guys that have left South Carolina, and sometimes the coach called me and sometimes I never heard from the coach, and that's their prerogative. For me though, yes, we're going to call as many people as we can and talk to as many people as we can, high school coach, college coaches at the school they just came from, and things like that. And it was funny, we were at that Peach Bowl thing the other night, and we were at dinner on Sunday night, and all the coaches, we all had our phones, and it was, hey, so-and-so just went in the portal. If you guys want to go ahead and get busy on it, my personnel guy just called me. I know y'all are going to be interested too, so if you want to go ahead and call him, he just went in about 5 minutes ago. So we did have some jokes about that, but yes, we are going to reach out to people, and whether they do to us or to the level of the schools do, I don't know.
The 2 guys who are, I guess, still away from the team, I'm guessing their status is still what it's been. If everything happens that needs to happen for them to be able to come back, do you anticipate walking?
The ones that got in trouble back in January?
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, there's a lot that has to happen for us to get to that point. And like I've told you guys before, and I'm not trying to dodge the question, it's really above my head from a university standpoint. The university would have to decide. The university would have to decide that they were willing to allow them to come back to school. And, I think, we'll see what happens. So they've got a suspension that's a certain length and whatnot. And when that time's up, we'll see where they are. They may have decided to go somewhere else. They may want to still be Gamecocks. That's kind of where we are on that. So I don't know. It'll be an answer above my head when it gets to that point.
In terms of that, Shane, if they were to clear, you'd welcome them back, right?
It would have to be. I think everybody makes mistakes, and obviously they made a pretty serious one. And I would want to, see how they learn from it, how they live their life. life the right way since that time. If they stayed out of trouble, if they've done the things that they're supposed to do as a person first and foremost, and then, you know, have a decision to make at that point.
For August camp, firm reporting date yet? I think you said maybe the 4th.
Yeah, I think I was a day off what I told you guys. I think it's that Thursday, whatever that first Thursday is.
Okay.
Yeah, so they would report Thursday and we would practice Friday. I think the day I told you guys before may have been a day off one way or another, but yes, it's the first Thursday in August, and then practice on that Friday.
Another roster housekeeping thing. Has Dante Miller gotten word yet on his?
He hasn't.
Still waiting.
He hasn't. He's still working through the appeal process, and had gotten kind of like an initial response back, and then there's a second wave or whatnot that they're going through right now. So we're optimistic, but until we know for sure, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
But we're still waiting on that.
We'll probably get a ton of offensive coordinator questions tonight, and moving forward, so I'll ask one too. But you and Dowell talked about streamlining the offense. I know it's not a process that's finished yet, but where do you feel like that is, and how that went during spring ball?
I think really good. You know, we tried to him coming in. There were certainly some things that he believed in that we wanted to implement. There's also things that we believed in from what we did last year that we wanted to continue to do. And then also when a new guy comes in, you don't want to have to ask 50 offensive players to learn a whole new offense if you can just ask him to learn some things. So there's been some carryover, particularly in the passing game. There's quite a few things that are different with how we call stuff in whether it be formationally or in the run game or pass protection that I think make it easier on the guys. And that was part of the exit meetings that I had a couple weeks ago with all the players. Colin was just asking them from an offensive standpoint, you like what we're doing? Does it make sense? Anything could be better? And that's what they all said, that it made a lot of sense, and they liked the way that we were, you know, playing. And that'll be something too, even coming out of spring practice. Dow and I talking about it, that okay, we did this, but this can be even better. You know, we called this, but why can't we call it that? You know, and stuff like that as well. So those are all, it's all part of the learning process that we went through as coaches as well during spring practice. But to answer your question, excuse me, I feel good about it, and I think our players have a good handle on it as well. I know Spencer really likes what we're doing, and the receivers as well.
When the 2020 rule happened and gave all the guys the extra year, they wanted it. Obviously made roster management challenging, more challenging.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you're kind of on the backside of that and being able to get back to normal?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. I'll be honest, I don't really even think about it anymore of it being an issue. It was initially, but it's been so much, and we've had, I don't want to say turnover, we've had guys leave the program and then recruiting classes. And then the NCAA changing the rule where you just got to stay within your 85 and not being capped at the 25 initial, the 25 initials. The fact that I wish we had that my first year, because my first year, you guys know, we went into that first season, I think we had 79 guys on scholarship when we started preseason camp, if I'm not mistaken, because I couldn't sign anybody else without taking from the following year's recruiting class, because there was a cap on the number of initial scholarships you could use. The fact that there's no more of a cap on that, and as long as you stay under 85, it makes it so much better, particularly in the era of the transfer portal, that you can have a competitive roster.